Welcome once again, and of course, welcome back, Joe. It's time to get deeper into sports conversations this morning. We're, of course, starting with sports across Africa. Good morning once again.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Let's go straight into the world of sports, and our destination will take us to Ghana, where we talk about the Ghana Premier League leaders, Ashanti Kotoko. They failed to stretch the lead at the top as King Faisal recorded their 8th defeat in 10 games to slip into the relegation zone after matchday 28. Now, Kotoko were held to a 1-all draw by Aduana Stars, while second place Bechem United had drawn with Hearts of Oak a day before. Well, Hearts dropped to 4th following the draw as Medeama SC leapfrogged the defending champions to claim the 3rd spot with a 2-0 win over Ashanti Gold. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the table, Faisal made their first entry after a 2-1 loss to Ashanti Gold Stars. Faisal have now joined Wafa and El Mina Sharks at the bottom after 11 Wonders managed a 2-1 home win over Kerala United to move a step out of the drop zone. But guess what? We do have a sports writer all the way from Ghana who joins us this morning. His name is Jerome Otchere. Well, joining us here to shed more light on what's been going on, the survival battle, especially that's ongoing in the Ghana Football League. Well, it's great to have you here, Jerome, or better start saying Jerome. Well, it's the morning after match day 28, and things are indeed beginning to take its shape in the league. First off, what do you make of the 2021-2022 season so far?
I think it's been very interesting. Interesting in the sense that a lot of the clubs have given their best. When the competition started, it wasn't too clear who was to lead the competition. In fact, I just heard you mention King Faisal. King Faisal got off to a brilliant start. Everybody was surprised because the previous season, they were almost relegated. In fact, they saved themselves on match day 34 or so. So it's been an interesting competition. Hatsukuk, for instance, many thought because they were champions for last season, were going to dominate this season. But this season, they have struggled. Asante Kotoko had a neck-to-neck race with Hatsukuk last season, and they promised themselves that this season they were going to pick it. And they have been in dominant form. I mean, they have been leading the pack for some weeks now. It doesn't look like any of the clubs can overtake Asante Kotoko. But there are some more matches to be played. I think about 6 or so matches to be played. And Kotoko know very well that given the point gap between them and I think Bechem United, who are second place, if care is not taken, if they don't step up themselves well on the accelerator, they might be laughing at the wrong side of their mouth. So generally, it's been interesting, and we are just watching how things will pan out as we go into match day 29 and the rest of the matches.
All right, well, Hearts of Oak have been a shadow of themselves. I mean, since they won the Premier League title last season, many were expecting that they will come forth with a lot of energy, zest, and they would also continue to conquer. But even with the acquisition of former international Sule Montari, they still struggle, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, what do you make of the defending champions campaign this season so far? Would you say it has been promising, exciting, or is something that definitely many should start thinking about closely?
I think it's been very difficult for Hatsukuk, and like I said earlier, many had expected them to do better than they are doing now. I personally believed that they were going to be tougher than they were last season. The problem for Hatsukuk this season has been how they started. They didn't start too well, and you know, they were in Africa when the competition started. They were playing in the Champions League. They didn't do too well in the Champions League. In fact, they were kicked out in the prelims, and they had some outstanding matches. Before they were able to clear those outstanding matches, the other teams had taken off, and the momentum of those teams, like Asante Kotoko, was very difficult for Hatsukuk to break. Yes, the signing of Sule Montari and indeed one other international player, Samuel Nkum, have given them some amount of strength. But the truth of the matter is, because they didn't start too well, because the other teams had a good flight before Hatsukuk came in, it's been so difficult for Hatsukuk to catch up. I think they've even done well because, I mean, there were points in the competition where they were somewhere around 6 or 8 on the league table. Now they've climbed up, and I've heard some of their fans say that if they are not going to overtake Ashanti Kotoko, that is, if they are not defending their title, it will be best if Hearts of Oak are able to stay in the top 4 ranks.
Well, as things stand, Ashanti Kotoko topped the log with 56 points after 28 games played and looked like serious title contenders, although you are also making an assertion that they could be chased. But what do you think worked for Ashanti Kotoko, especially for this season?
I think it's the planning, the preparation. You know, Kotoko have the clout. Kotoko have been champions of the Ghana Premier League 24 times, more than any club in the country. And so when it comes to Kotoko and the league, they have the experience, they know how to win it. But for this season specifically, it's been about how they planned. Their preseason was good. I mean, the new coach came in with some new signings. The management was able to get the team some preseason training. They were in Dubai for 2 weeks or so. And even though the preseason, they lost a lot of matches, the coach kept telling the fans that don't worry, these are only rehearsals. When the season starts proper, we are going to go into the competition with all force. And I think that is what they have done. So for me, it's just about the good preparation Asante Kotoko had, some of the quality signings they did, especially in attack. If you watched Kotoko's games so far, you can, clearly tell that it is the Cameroonian striker, Frank Mbella Ituga, who has been doing everything when it comes to goals. Last Sunday, he was not able to convert 2 penalties in Kotoko's game against Aduana Stars, and the fans were upset. But this is a guy who's done 19 goals for Kotoko this season, and I'm telling you, on record, he is going to be Kotoko's best striker in the last 30 years. Kotoko's 3rd best striker in the last 30 years. He's just broken a record that was set by Eric Bechem. Eric Bechem is a former goal king and a former top scorer for Kotoko. He set a record 12 years ago by scoring 17 goals for Kotoko. That was the first time a Kotoko striker had done 17 goals in more than 30 years. And this guy from Cameroon has come in to break that record. There is another record set by a Hearts of Oak striker, Ishmelado. He, 21 years ago, scored 22 goals in the league. Since then, nobody has done that. And Frank Mbella from Cameroon has said that with 19 goals and about 6 matches to end the competition, he is going to break that record too. So last Sunday, it was a painful moment for him and Kotoko fans when he missed 2 penalties awarded Kotoko. So for Kotoko's case, it's just been about the preparation, the good signing they did, and I think the coach too is good. The coach has been very, very good working. Sometimes it's even difficult to tell who the coach is. He flows with the players everywhere, anytime, and you can tell that there is some good team bonding, and all these have come together to contribute to Kotoko's success this season.
All right, let's look very closely to relegation now. The decisive final period of the league season has indeed arrived, and with it comes the race to avoid relegation. Now, what do you make of King Faisal? Does relegation loom for the team? Do you see them escaping this time? Are there possibilities that they will escape?
I have a hunch that they might escape because this has been the 3rd time they have romanced with relegation. And somehow, some way, they are able to escape on the last day. And I'm thinking that probably this time they will be able to do that. It's going to be a top fight down there. Already, Elmina Sharks, they appear to have said goodbye to the competition, even though they are not giving up. Last weekend, they played Wafa, one of the sides, an academy side that has been battling relegation. And many thought that Elmina Sharks were going to give the match away, but they didn't. They fought very well and drew with Wafa. And that, in a sense, didn't do a lot of good for King Faisal because they were hoping that Wafa would win so that they show up their points, and that would have helped them in a way. So the relegation fight will be very difficult. I'm not sure we can tell who is going to go down, apart from perhaps Elmina Sharks, who, per some mathematics I have done, I don't see how they are going to survive. But then, who joins Elmina Sharks to the Division 1 League of Ghana football will be very, very, very interesting to watch. I'm not sure we can tell now until maybe the last 1 or 2 games. And perhaps, yet again, King Faisal will be able to survive. Because, they are one of those sides that have been in the Premier League for a long time. Very, very difficult side. I think they've struggled financially, and that has contributed to their performance this season. They started very well, like I said, but midway into the season, they have had things difficult. They have actually not won in their last 7 or 8 matches, and that is contributing to their decline in the competition.
All right. I want to say thank you so much for joining us here. Sports right all the way from Ghana, Jerome Otchere. Thank you for being here on Breakfast Central.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, let's move on now and bring you another story, and it's got to do with the African who plays for Manchester City. His name is Riyad Mahrez. Well, good news for Riyad because he will be having a striking partner who will join him at the front to ensure that Manchester City not only banging goals like they're doing this season, but of course, they look forward to seal championships and of course win trophies. Now, Man City have reached an agreement to sign Norway striker, that man there, Erling, the Super Haaland. No longer Erling Haaland, but of course Erling the Super Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Haaland, who's just 21 years, will join in July after City activated a 60 million euro release clause in his contract. The deal ends the club's hunt for a successor to their all-time top scorer Sergio Aguero, who joined Barcelona on a free transfer last summer. Now, we can confirm that we have reached an agreement in principle for the transfer of striker Erling Haaland, City said. And the transfer remains subject to the club finalising terms with the player. Haaland, who passes City medical in Belgium on Monday, has scored 85 goals in 88 appearances for Dortmund since joining from Red Bull Salzburg in January 2020. What this means is that Pep Guardiola will be expecting to score more goals, have a lot of margin in terms of goal scoring formula, and that man known as Riyad Mahrez, who will be attacking from the right flank, will definitely have someone at the centre where he can always do that, his crosses, and have a great time with them. So there you have it. That's the latest story coming out from sports, especially from the African continent. We've taken a look at the Ghanaian League and, of course, Riyad Mahrez, who is indeed happy and excited. That's the story coming out from the camp of Manchester City as they look forward to lock horns and pick up a trophy for this season where Liverpool left off, especially yesterday night after winning Aston Villa. But will they win as well today, and will they continue to keep that point going? That question will be answered as we move closer to the end of the season. That's all from me here in sports. Back to you guys, Olive, and of course, Osauge, who definitely supports Enugu Rangers.
So it's looking like it's going to be a very exciting season next year. I've given up on Champions League or anything in that conversation because I'm a Manchester United fan. But, Haaland and Mahrez in Manchester City look like it's going to be
Haaland,
a really
Mahrez,
tough season.
you've got Sterling, you've got Gundogan. You do have that wicked player. I call him a wicked player because he's fantastically amazing. I'm talking about
De Bruyne, the Belgian.
Of course.
It's going to be really...
Liverpool, Man City, you cannot count all their players without leaving anyone out because they're all goal scorers.
Yeah.
So Kevin De Bruyne and the like. So, I mean, it promises to be an exciting season.
I mean, yesterday, Joe, when you were speaking, you had very high hopes for Manchester City. I'm sure those hopes are still alive today, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, we're just worried for those who support other clubs. They're just worried that the Arsenal that have joined Manchester City will definitely tear down any defensive department.
It's going to be a really interesting season.
Problem
of course,
for
Liverpool also very likely would have to figure out what their plan is for next season. To at least find a way to handle the pair of Mahrez and Gabriel Jesus and Erling Haaland. So looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Joe, for sharing with us. Manchester United fans will stay out of the conversation for a while.
It's okay. We don't have to win to be a part of the conversation. But thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a very interesting and packed 1 hour.